Hello, tonight I'm going to speak about the latest Bearable Guy 123 video and how for me it's not as optimistic as everybody is hoping it to be. Now it's great, don't get me wrong. XRP's on the moon, fabulous. We made it, bravo, we got this. Happy New Year 2026, voila. Mission accomplished. Except, if you follow my X account, I'm a little bit cynical. I am a big supporter of XRP because logically it makes sense with all the 589s and all the elements that are bringing it all together, Ripple and the show. It is something else. However, how do I see this riddle? So, back in December, to me, this looked like a conspiracy riddle. Most of the elements on here look like they either have the conspiracy behind them or are fake or just part of a film set. And this is why I'm going to explain that. So first of all, we've got the bear sitting in Captain Kirk's Star Trek seat. So instantly, we know we're on a film set. You could say, well, it's just, ode to Captain Kirk and space missions, etc. No, I think we're on a film set. And I think once the cameras stop rolling, there'll be cheersing on the right-hand side here with the beers, which, if we go into it, let's have a look. So space, there's a conspiracy theory that it doesn't exist, it's fake, and etc., etc. It exists, that conspiracy theory. There is no space as we know it. We're in a confined globe, just like on the Truman Show. Okay, the conspiracy theory that the moon landing was fake as a result of the way the Earth is situated, but it exists. The moon itself, there's a theory that it's plasma and not at all made of cheese. Of course, the biggest conspiracy theory in the world is Santa. And of course, we know that he's not real. Sorry, kids. The bear himself is not real. He's a fictitious character. The Corona beer here that this arm is holding, the Arthur Brito arm, or certainly the arm that carries the Arthur Brito gauntlet, is present. That could suggest that that is what that is. 589 itself, if you followed notfinancialadvice.crypto, you'll know that 589 is the number of simulation, and whenever you see it, you're kind of on the right track, but what you're seeing is not real, or just part of the stage, part of the show. So now it's set in stone. I hope that makes sense, because with NFA, he has done an amazing job with his team to do all the research, the deep diving, to get all the stuff from the archives, connect all the dots, and do everything that the Riddle creators probably wished had been done a lot sooner, in order to reveal the truth behind the riddle, some of the deep layers. But of course, you need to be a member of NFA's Patreon to get the full extent of his decodes, his information, and the information carried out by he and his team. It's fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and I highly recommend it. So, of course, we've got the Earth there, which has been, everybody, in the conspiracy world say that you can't get a legit picture of Earth because NASA can't take one because, well, space doesn't exist. The satellite theory is that satellites are up in space, or up in the higher atmosphere, held up there by balloons. So there is a conspiracy theory for pretty much everything on this page. The Ice King with a peg on his nose, bad smell. I did Google once that space smells of sulfur, so perhaps he's outside smelling something bad. And of course, sulfur can come from many different places, like earthquakes. And sulfur was mentioned in the XRPP video once. If you remember watching back, when the flip was switched, the financial reset, the world changed forever, there was a smell of sulfur in the air, according to that story. So there may be some sort of light connection to that, but bear that in mind. But anyway, so with that in mind, there are obviously a lot of other elements in this. The suitcases, somebody mentioned use case. Yeah, that could be part of it. Of course, you've got XRP. It's the only thing. Let's switch to Photoshop. XRP is the only flag in the moon. So it makes suggestion that it's the only thing that succeeds, perhaps. Or maybe it's the thing that's grabbing attention. To me, yeah, XRP grabs a lot of attention. I can't see any other way to explain XRP than it's a psyop. You've got Claver last year talking about 10,000 XRP here and other crazy prices. Lots of other community members still believing flip of the switch is going to take it to silly prices. And my cynical head for the last couple of years has been vomtastic at the sight of anything like that. I can't stand it. I absolutely hate that part of the community. It makes me sick. And of course, I hold XRP and I have a bag that I won't touch, in case something ridiculous ever does happen. But the way the community acts and larps on, I can't see it. I think the riddles and the lessons are there to be taught. And I think the entire community is going to have to go through a lot of lessons. And I don't think we see anything huge until a lot of events have occurred. And we can take this lighthearted, but also we can look at things cynically. There's a big gap on the arm of this, between the arm and the border. Now, gaps on financial charts are usually formed when a price goes up or down quite fast, and it doesn't fill the buy or sell points, and it leaves a gap on the chart. I think, and I've seen Albus and some other community members, mention the gap, mind the gap. It's a very London term. That could spell danger. If we do go up violently, my suspicion is we're going to come back down violently too. Now, what have we got here on the bagpipes? So one, you've got the old saying, he's got his wedding ring. So this is Brad and his wedding ring. He's got it quite high up on the finger, and I hate the way this zooms out. But he has married his bagpipe. He's holding his bags. He's married his bags. That's the old term, isn't it? Don't marry your bags. That's actually kind of the advice, is don't marry your bags. And so what do we see with bagpipes? Well, if we Google it, they're known for war. They were symbols of war. But the most interesting one for me is that there is, in fact, a bagpipes astrology tool, which is used by clever astrologers to generate realistic model galaxy spectra. And so if you Google it, astrology bagpipes, you can see what that's all about. I can't find any working models of it on YouTube or anywhere, but it exists. And essentially what Google AI suggests it is, I asked it, look, is a realistic model galaxy spectra essentially a simulation? And it said, yes, it is. So astronomers use sophisticated programs, often referred to as forward models or galaxy formation simulations, to create these synthetic spectra for research and data analysis purposes. So for me, the bagpipes, one, represent war, because we got to do, just Google it. Let's do it. Let's come back to that. Bagpipes used in war. So you got the Canadian pipers in World War One, with soldiers who contributed to the First World War by playing bagpipes as they marched the troops to the front, etc., etc. There's lots of different examples of this. So they can be symbols of war. In the spiritual meaning of bagpipes, they're thought to possess mystical powers. Supposedly, they're the only instrument that can be heard in heaven. That's interesting. A piper and the sound of bagpipes helps to direct departed souls towards heaven's gates. So that's a little bit ominous as well. So you've got the idea that where I'm going with this is, one, he's not currently playing them, but it would suggest he has been playing them, or he's intending to start playing these bagpipes, or he's just keeping them safe. So, one, he's married his bags, and they're used for war, and bagpipes astrology software creates simulations. So what it's highlighting is we're going to have a simulation, potentially about war, and you potentially don't want to be married to your bags, because I imagine that if there is a gap coming, that gap will get filled. And of course, if it is Corona beer, that was of course a simulation. That was, a worldwide, very successful simulation. And you've got the ace, or the card up the sleeve, which again is the magician's masterful way to distract, the element of distraction. You look one way, I look the other, etc., etc. So that's what I think that means. So XRP may indeed have a great show at some point, but the question is there going to be a rough ride either before or after that happens? I'm willing to bet there is, based on that. So you've got lots of other things on this image. You've got the perseverance again, perseverancia, which is the Spanish word for perseverance. Again, the Spanish beer flu, again, links maybe the Spanish element. It could be so many things. I mean, these riddles are so deep in meaning. Again, the rockets could have double meanings to war, nuclear war, which we're seeing talked about more and more and more lately. So I don't think we've got an easy ride, and I think that's the purpose. When you're being shown the simulation, I don't think the purpose is that it's going to be easy. And finally, just this mention of these moons. There's 117 of them. I've seen some different ideas, but of course, 117 is to do with Venus. Most commonly refers to the length of a solar day on Venus, which is about 117 Earth days. So they're teaching us about Venus, all the key facts about Venus. So a solar day for Venus is about 117 Earth days. So we're looking at a solar day. So they're pointing to Venus's solar days. However, the sidereal rotation is 243 Earth days, which is one full rotation relative to the stars, and 225 Earth days, which is the time to orbit the Sun. And of course, 225, when you times that by the golden ratio twice, it equals 589. That's why Venus is so relevant to the 589 crew. Finally, I just thought I'd show you something interesting with these little things inside the suitcases, the use case. So I've copied it and coloured one of them in. And I think what's interesting is you've got this sort of T structure here and a T structure here. So if you overlay them, they look a little bit like a Space Invader, a little bit. And again, you've got the Space Invader idea. Maybe we get invaders from space at some point. If we do, I'm just going to laugh. There also may be a cipher hidden here, but I'm going to explore more into that and see what we can find. Oh, let's finish on NFA. So NFA is highlighting that America is sending people to the moon again. So NASA returns humans to deep space after 50 years in February with the Artemis 2, the moon mission. 4 astronauts, 1 mission. And may I remind you what date is 4/1? April Fool's Day. Yeah, don't fall for it. Yeah, it's bullshit. They couldn't, make that more clear. And of course the US Department of Energy on the right on January 14th, 1/4 again. Yeah, I think, God, if they're going to do that and they're going to make that make that a real spectacle, that's going to be hilarious. Okay, anyway, let's leave it there. Follow NFA. So enjoy, take care, all the best.